Faders of the Lost Art.
Welcome to AES 2023, Faders of the Lost Art, AES edition. We're blessed to have my wonderful co-host, Bob Horn, Ken Lewis, legendary legends in the building. You already know that. And of course, we got to announce our special guest, Young Bane's in the building. If y'all don't know him, y'all are smoking something. I don't want that. But you already know YSL and the whole team, the whole gang. He's been doing it for a long time. And legendary engineer. We're blessed to have you here. Thanks for coming by, Banes.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Hell yeah. So what's popping, y'all? What's good? How's AES going?
Dude, show's been fun so far. What is everybody's favorite thing? Like, one of my favorite things was the Synaptic Colors shit. Did anybody see that?
Yeah.
Oh,
they make
right
really cool stuff. It's like the first thing when you walk in, right? Yeah.
Mind-blowing shit. Like,
what does it do?
It's a kind of like a creative musical manipulator. So it can do a lot of it can like isolate, say, the vocal in a full mix and then formant, pitch, a filter effect. You can affect the dynamics separately from it's like all of the best features of all of the dope plugins put into one thing specific for music. It's pretty mind-blowing what it can do.
Nice.
Yeah,
I use Intensity by Synaptic. It's pretty insane. Like, it's probably like the hardest. I don't even know what it does. Some sort of AI. Nobody knows what these things do.
Their stuff is so
it's
nerd
intense.
level.
It is so nerd level. But it's like the most intense. Like, I use like 2% of that shit, and it's like harder than the hardest limiter ever. It's crazy.
What's it? It's called Intensity?
Intensity by Synaptic.
It's
insane, bro.
Yeah. They also have like Unveil. So if you have something, like if you have a sample and it's filtered way, way, way down and dark as fuck, this thing will open the whole thing right back up. It's insane. It's the tech is really insane.
Yeah.
And then they have
So these are rocket scientists that got into
these are
audio.
like NASA level nerds making audio plugins. I'm glad somebody on that level is. They helped me out. I actually mixed a Zach Brown, a record that Zach Brown featured on. And we needed to pitch one of the vocals on the record by like 2 full steps.
Okay.
And I reached out to the Synaptic guys to help me out with it, and they ran it through their nerd shit that's not out yet.
Holy shit.
Sent it back,
Wow.
and I was like, it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good.
Nice.
That's
Whatever they're doing over there, they've solved the tech mysteries. They're brilliant.
Yeah, it's crazy when like plugins use like AI or like tech to do stuff like that instead of us like I would normally just like if you want like to open things up and get top end, you would like crank an EQ on there and shit. But this is just doing shit like adding stuff that you didn't even know was there based on. It's like that generative fill that Photoshop's doing with AI.
Adobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just telling someone, I was like, we need to get on that Adobe shit to edit the podcast. Like, that shit's so fast. It does it all for you, lines up the audio if it falls off a sync. It's insane. It's really insane. I can't wait.
Baines told me last night about Whitestone, and it's not a company I'm familiar with, but they have 2 boxes that are like Mojo processors, make things more interesting, saturation, tube circuits mixed with transformers probably. I don't even know what all's in it, but the boxes are brilliantly smart. They're like digitally controlled analog, and I knew as soon as I got to the show today I had to go check them out, but it's an analog piece, not plugins, but they have plugins to recall the boxes.
Nice.
So you could actually put the boxes at the bottom of your rack.
Everybody needs to do that. We need to
I know, right? That
make
should be
that
the
a
future.
standard.
And
That's a
you'd
standard.
use the gear so much more.
Yeah.
Also with those boxes, like he has it racked up so you can't see inside the unit. Mm-hmm. But it's the biggest tube I've seen in a piece of gear.
Oh yeah.
It's massive, bro. It's crazy. Like it's like some. And I was talking to him about it yesterday. I was like, because the most of the tubes we're used to seeing are like the ones that go in the Ferns or like in like the smaller Telefunken ones. And he's like, they've gone the opposite route. They've taken like a hi-fi tube.
Okay.
And then made it, dirtied it up within the by sending feedback to it and stuff like that. Just. However they do it, it works.
Well, the saturation was gorgeous. Like, I can't imagine a plugin doing this saturation that I heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like still a place for outboard gear.
Absolutely. Transformers and tubes, man.
Yeah.
We need just like a tube box, like just tubes.
Doesn't somebody make something like that?
I think so. We need more.
I think a company
Need
makes
more.
like a little, just run your shit through a tube and saturate the tube box.
Yeah.
But
There's
I've looked
a
into that.
tape version of that I have called the Zulu.
Oh yeah, I have the Zulu.
It's really
I
cool.
love the
But
Zulu. It's
I
great.
think I saw him yesterday. He's around here somewhere, Langston.
Langston.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out
So
Langston.
I bought these XLR plugs that have a volume knob on them. They're line amps for my Zulu, so I could optimize the amount I push in without fucking around with my A to D converters.
Wow.
So it comes out. They're like on Redco.com.
Yeah.
And you just plug them into the back of the unit, all four of them, 2 in, 2 out, and then that way you can go out and in and out of your DAW at whatever level you want to, and then do the push on going into the Zulu. If you want more, you can push it all the way up, and so it's a good additive to it.
By the way, for anybody watching, Bob is definitely the nerd level genius on our panel. The shit that he solves in audio land is like, he's always telling me stuff. It's like, yeah, there's, this meter sounds different than that meter, and this plugin does. If you do this certain thing, it's not supposed to do this.
It's called boredom. Boredom.
No, I think it's called a little bit of genius.
For real. Yeah, Bob has techniques that blow our minds.
Yeah, dude.
Like every time.
Some of your techniques have cleaned up my mixes, 100%. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nice.
Literally. Like I would have never thought of that. Ever. How'd you get there?
Accidents.
Insane. That's our job, solving
Right?
problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Oh, dude, the other thing. So I've always desired to test out the DW Fern stuff, and I got to borrow the Hazelwork stuff last week. Unbelievable. And Baines has always told me about it, but I finally got my hands last night on a VT5, the Stereo Pultec. Oh my God! Like,
It makes shit sound expensive.
I know.
Hold on, I gotta
That's-
interrupt you guys. We got an amazing special guest, G,
G.
from
Ah,
Avid.
nice.
Legendary folks in the building.
Sweet.
AES 2023
Welcome back.
getting lit, getting live in here. What's going on, G?
feels
Welcome,
good,
welcome.
What up,
Thank
what
you, brother.
up?
Thanks for coming on.
Nice, nice.
Legendary for y'all. Those of y'all that don't know, G has been holding it down at Avid recently. Man, helping us move the needle forward, get the creators the tools that we need to keep moving. So much appreciated, G. Thanks for always pushing the needle,
Pleasure,
always at
bro.
Avid. There's always that push-pull with like these guys aren't happy, these guys are super happy, and G's the one mediating everything, making sure we get our message heard. So thank you, G.
I feel like as engineers, we've worked with A&Rs our whole life, and he's the A&R for Avid. And if you think about that, we're the artists, so we have our own A&R now.
Deep, bro.
So can I be a diva then?
Wait, you're not already? I mean,
So what are you excited about at AES?
At AES?
Yeah.
Well, the cloud microphone. No, I think for me, it's like seeing the community, man. I'm across the ocean, so I talk to everyone, WhatsApp, iMessage, email. So I think for me, it's just more about having everyone in the same room, man. Like this, dude.
That's
we're
fun,
in a, we're in a massive convention center talking about audio. Like it is.
Yeah,
I
we
just
get to
hope it
nerd out.
Yeah.
I just hope it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, man. Because it's a community that should just keep growing. So I feel for me, it's just seeing everyone, seeing
Yeah.
people in flesh, man. I get
Yeah.
to chill with them and hang with them.
No, it's
What's up,
great.
man?
yeah, I came last year, was the first year I'd been back in ages, and I was like, just being able to see my friends again was the coolest fucking experience.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I haven't seen you in ages. Oh. So, and it's like a lot of that this year as well with people I either haven't met, but like never met Big Lou in the flesh.
Oh,
Today was the day.
there you
Wow.
I mean, I
Incredible.
feel like, we've known each other forever. There's a ton of people I've known forever. And
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
never
this is the
met.
first time like I met you in person too.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yep.
It was cool to like meet some entry level engineers that are just starting out, but to hear how in depth their thought process is, and not just like a guy using a DAW on a laptop. Like they're into it, like our spirit is. you
Yeah.
know? And that was really cool. A few people I met like that. You know?
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm blessed. We ain't the only nerds out here.
Yeah, there's some hungry folks out here.
Yep.
Did you guys see the John Lennon bus?
I saw it. I haven't gone over there.
Oh,
but-
you should check it out. That thing is dope.
Yeah.
They have a little Genelec 714 Atmos setup that's dialed in, and they got this. They're playing this. The RZA just produced an orchestral album of just orchestral music. That's it. The RZA. and they're
That's
playing it
crazy.
in there. And apparently that bus followed Wu-Tang around for 2 weeks on tour, so that RZA could work on the orchestral album in the daytime, and then they could play at night.
Oh,
Wow.
That's nuts,
Yeah, and
dude.
it's dope. You guys gotta hear it.
I just saw a lot of brand logos on there. I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, I see every logo on it.
It's an educational bus,
Yeah.
so they drive it around the country to high schools and colleges and things
Wow,
like
that's
that.
cool,
And
man.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool thing.
That's actually how Full Sail started.
Oh yeah.
Like Full Sail back in the day, and like I know, like my first boss, he was when he went to Full Sail, it was just a converted tour bus that he had built a studio on, Gary Jones, and was taking classes out of it, and it's turned into this monstrous university now. Which is pretty
Is
wild.
Full Sail multiple locations now, or
No,
just still in
it's
Florida?
just one location in Florida, but they own half of that city.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, it's crazy when you hear that. Like, what a deep impact, because there's a lot of people that you meet in the industry from Full Sail. It's a deep impact.
It is crazy for sure. Like even when I was like, first starting out over here, interning at studios, half of the dope engineers over there were from Full Sail at anyone I meet, and then now it's like you're like jaded, because like I feel like back then everyone was hungry and thirsty, and now like kids get out of Full Sail like, yo, I just got out of Full Sail, what can you do for me? And I was like, yo, what's up with that?
Hell yeah.
You're gonna have a short career, buddy.
Yeah.
So I've been grilling everybody today. Top 3 plugins just this year. As far as like what you grab the quickest, like what's like your top little bop quickest little joints. I'll start Pro Q3. I'll take that off the list for everybody. And RVox, take that right off the list. I've been using that a lot, tracking, and the RDSer. Those aren't necessarily my top 3, but those are like the quickest that I've just been going to since I've been tracking a lot.
You guys messed around with Ozone 11 yet?
I've been using the heck out of that.
That's really good.
How is it?
I didn't even know 11 existed.
It's pretty
dude.
recent, yeah. The Clarity module, insane. Also, Dave is around here somewhere, so you should link with him. He'll send it to
I've
you.
been using on individual stuff as well as the master.
Yeah, same.
The clarity, going negative on the tilt on the vocal, so it's cleaning up frequencies, resonances, giving more clarity.
It's like
but
a
you can
better
go
version of Gullfoss.
dark while you do it.
Yeah.
So you don't make a vocal too bright, but it gets clear. It's kind of like a backwards thought, and just the transient sustain differences. You can go to like dynamic EQ and just put compress the kick transient, but not the sustain.
Right. Yeah.
And-
Neutron does some shit like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
they've probably perfected
Have you
it
seen
better.
Have you seen the Lander plugin as well? The new Lander plugin. What do you
No.
guys think about that? So
I don't know
they
that.
built the whole Lander master plugin. I'd love to see people's
Oh, wow.
opinions on that, man.
So-
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole brand new plugin.
That new
it's about
music
time.
hack. Have you tried the music hack master plan yet?
That is
Do
crazy.
you guys know about that?
I have it. I haven't checked it out.
You got to
yet.
check it
Is
out.
dope?
It's dope. It's a mastering plugin, but they've somehow made a new algorithm of clipping with limiting combined. It's not either,
Wow.
but you can get louder more effortlessly with
Speaking of
less
clipping,
pumping.
Gold Clip.
Gold clip?
Have you tried that yet?
No.
Oh, that's amazing. Gold Clip has definitely been like one of those things that from the first day I started using it, it's been on every mix. Like I haven't not used it. And like same thing, I'll use it on the mix bus and on individual
Well,
elements
what
as well.
company is that?
Dude's around here somewhere.
Schwab
Ryan
Digital.
Schwab. Yeah, he's a mastering engineer.
I'm gonna write that
And
down.
basically, he's around here somewhere. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
when
I
see
met him
him.
for the first time today too.
Yeah.
Really nice guy.
Super nice guy, and he's working on some crazy stuff. Like he did this event at East West a month or two ago, and showed us all the new stuff that he has in the pipeline. It's really, really cool. Basically, it's a Lavery,
Yeah.
and he was a mastering engineer. He said that he was just trying to figure out how to get it, and then just hired a bunch of coders and came up with this thing. And a lot of trial and error, and I think he like really got it right.
Nice. So you can do that 14 dB above zero trick, like just
Yeah,
pushing the heck out of it.
exactly.
Nice.
And you get louder, but it doesn't break up the way you would think it would
Right,
break up.
right.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I need all the help with loudness because I typically have more bass than the next guy. So my stuff is usually quieter just by default, but so I'm always looking for the best way to get louder, you know.
Are you guys still using standard clip?
On hi-hats. I like it on hi-hats.
Really?
On the kick,
Yeah.
just on the kick.
Same.
Nice.
That's where I've defaulted. Is literally I've got my one little setting on the
We're out
kick.
Pro.
And
Oh, wow.
Yep,
Put in
yep.
Pro, and then switch it to whatever 128x, and then you'll
Hell
probably
yeah.
crash your computer if you hit play. Don't hit play, just hit commit real quick.
Oh, word. That's the sauce right there.
Okay.
Committed at 128. Hell yeah.
It like 8 is good, but if you can go all the way up, just go all the way up. And once you've dialed it in and you're good with it, freeze it, commit it, whatever the fuck you want.
Dope. Dope.
that's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, pro clip. I do like, I don't know, 23, 24%. I like Jordan 23.
Usually I use like the subtle loudness on the mix bus. There's like a setting called subtle loudness, and a lot of times when my mix bus is dialed in but I haven't given it the final push,
Yeah.
I'll put that on and I'll just try it and I'll be like, yeah, okay.
What are you guys using, like last limiter, second last limiter, compressor, whatever? What's your last two things in the chain?
FabFilter Pro L2 is usually the finisher. Occasionally Slate FGX2 might be the finisher, but before that can be standard clip. I'm interested to check out the gold clip. I'm a fan of the Lavery Gold shit.
Yeah.
But often the BX Master Desk gets a fair amount of use.
Word.
Nice.
I use Master Desk on the drum bus.
That Master Plan by Music Hack replaced my L2 because I was an L2 Pro L2 guy. But now I got to check out Gold Clip.
Wait, you guys aren't doing invisible limiter?
Not anymore.
Not at all.
Damn. So yeah, I have like 2 stages. Like the last thing on my through track is what I call it, is the gold clip, and then that goes to another audio track, and then the limiters on that audio track, and then that goes to another audio track. So every time I print a mix, I'm printing two tracks at the same time, the limited version and the unlimited version. And then I just send screenshots to Laporta, and he can get to where I was and then beat it after that.
Word.
based on that.
Oh, okay.
Genius.
That's
So the gold clip is the last thing I print prior to mastering, and then my
So
loud
Gold
version.
Clip is on both.
No, it's
Oh.
on the
The limit.
the last aux track,
Okay.
and then that goes to another audio track, and that has invisible limiters. Usually the last one. There's a Pro L2 before that, and then if the rough is really loud and I need more mojo to get it that loud, I'll do limitless.
Okay.
And if it's come with God Particle, I'll put it back on, but I'll like never go above 30 to 40%.
Okay. Yeah, the middle knob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the limiter also back on.
God Particle, I wish I could bypass the internal curve it has.
Yeah.
Because I always
Yeah.
find if I'm going to use it, I need to start with it.
Yeah.
Because it darkens your high end and
Yeah.
it boosts the mids.
Yeah.
You can't put it on at the end.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Pull apart your
And
mix.
and the
Yeah.
more you push
Even in the
into
middle
it,
stuff.
the more you push into it, the more that vocal's just gonna come straight
Yeah.
forward out, and like all the different dynamics of the vocal kind of just sit in that one range. So you kind of have to mix into it. But my last two are Limitless and God Particle, and again, it really depends, and they change. Like
Which one's last? Limitless?
See, they change.
Oh, they change.
depending on the mix.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the input.
What's your
material.
style on Limitless? Punchy or transparent? Or
Transparent.
Somewhere between.
if you're crushing too much and you don't want to change your gain staging,
Yeah.
switch to punchy.
Right.
And it can limits a lot less.
Yep.
But it's not as deep of a mix. Transparent is deeper.
Got it. Got it.
Sonically.
Yeah, I'm usually in Punchy.
Punchy, yeah. it's a
Usually
good one.
always in Punchy.
And which one are you guys using? Because there's 3 of them. I know a lot of people still like the first version, G1. I use G2.
I don't even know what I have.
I didn't like G3 as much.
I don't even know which one.
G3
mine
is the newest one. Yeah,
What?
they've got 3 of them.
I might have G2.
Yeah, G2 is the one that, because G1 is, I mean, it's good, but it's just so taxing on the CPU that it just,
Okay.
just doesn't.
I didn't know there was 3 versions. I think
I didn't
I think
either.
I'm on 3.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Huh.
No wonder. I've
crazy.
been definitely pulling down the input on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately, I'm like, it's way easier to crunch it for some reason. Before it was like, man, I could push like the 3 little meters it has to tell you where you're at. I'd fly past that. Like I didn't care, and it didn't sound crunchy at all. But now I'm like, if I don't hit those meters, or I feel like I'm crunching too much, and I got to turn my input down a little bit to make it because it does flatten it a little bit.
Yeah.
So to get that back, I got to turn my input down. By the time I do that, I'm right in the meters. I was like, I used to always like fly past these God particle meters, and now I'm like right in the saw. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around
So
there.
you two guys, Baines and G, do you know about LolComp, Ken's plugin?
I've used the one with the
green husk.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one I have.
We just put out LOL Comp maybe 2 months ago, and it's basically 5 of my chains under the hood.
Oh,
you
nice.
select the chain, you push into it, and then it's got the LMAO drop down, which is like tilt, an extra limiter, an exciter, and a reverb tank. And
Nice.
the shit that you can dial in with this thing so quickly is fucking
I
bananas.
need to try.
I was going to ask you, I don't know if you can say it, but is the distressor in there?
I with the tools that I had, I emulated the distressors on my settings. Basically, the first chain is my vocal chain. The LOL chain is my vocal chain.
Gotcha.
And I worked my ass off to emulate basically how I typically do it. And the thing is, as you push into it, everything is changing under the hood in ways that you have no idea what's happening, but it affects the sound. And it basically emulates all of the shit that I find myself doing over and over and over, and it just makes life so easy.
I find I'll just crank it up to like 12 o'clock, and then I'll leave it alone. So that's what you would do, and then I just engineer after it to get it back to like what I would do, but it's like already like most of the work's done.
Yeah, it's a time saver and a creative. Like the sounds I get out of it that's the best thing about it. You get sounds out of it that you never planned on ever getting, and then you're 15 seconds of moving shit around, and you're like, whoa, okay, that's great. And so
All right, so Ken, so how much of your mixing has moved into low comp?
a lot. A lot. It's almost the first thing that I pull down on almost anything, because it's so versatile. You can really get it to do almost anything except for like surgical EQ and de-essing, and other than that, it does a whole lot. So
That's crazy.
So yeah, if I need light compression, if I need a little distortion, if I need saturation, if I need tone shaping, it's all there.
That's nuts. So it's like you just need that and a couple, like soothe, and you're good to go.
Yeah, well, I did. I'm in a group called Obscene Stealers, and so we put out a single called "Roll with the Punches" that I mixed, full on regular mix like I would normally do, and then for a mixing night contest, I gave out the raw multi, and I mixed it with only LOL Comp, no other plugins at all, and I matched the original mix perfectly.
Wow.
Dude, that's nuts.
So I was like, all right, if I can do this, then
It stands the test.
yeah,
Dude, that's nuts.
yeah, it's been a game changer for
Yo,
me.
G, it's been real. Thank you so much for stopping
G,
by. We know
thank
you got to
you,
get
dude.
back to work. G is one of the busiest dudes in the business. Thank you so much for stopping by.
The new Avid stuff is
Yes,
bananas.
we didn't get a chance to ask him, but
Yeah, we
got
should've.
the Matrix 2.
Oh yeah,
We got
the Matrix 2.
Hey, young E-Mix in the building.
Yo.
What's good? What's good? Great to see
What's
you,
up, bro?
E-Mix. Legendary E-Mix 305 in the building.
What?
This man's been working with Rick Ross for the longest time, working with all MMG artists for the longest time, Gucci Mane, Meg Thee Stallion, on and on and on and on, man. Legend in the building. Thank you so much for stopping by, E-Mix.
I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
On the mic, old school style.
Yeah.
About the beatbox.
On the guest mic, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
What we talking about?
Did you guys see that Avid sketch thing that they have now?
They showed
Yes.
it to me yesterday. It's pretty cool, man.
It's fucking dope.
It's pretty cool.
It's basically like they threw Ableton into Pro Tools now.
Oh, really? On an iPad.
Yeah, on an iPad.
And you know what?
wow.
You know what everyone's response is? So when's the hardware coming out?
Not mine. I looked at that shit. I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that shit because I've already been making beats on the fucking iPad.
Nice.
The ability to snap to key and tempo and do incredible time stretching and key stretching on the iPad is mind blowing.
What do you use for that? Do you use that?
There's a program called Launchpad.
Okay.
It's a super simple like beat making. You got a grid of 8 and 8, and every sound that you bring into it locks to, as long as you tempo and key it right, locks to key and tempo, and you can take something at 100 and pull it down to 50 BPM or up to 200 BPM, and it's coherent.
It's almost easier than Pro
I'm
Tools.
not shitting. It's mind blowing. So if Pro Tools has any of that mojo, people are going to be like,
Yep.
Okay.
That's really the only missing key. The only thing that's like, oh, Ableton over that or Logic over that. It's like, it's just those easy, simple like things that all producers need.
And you can open it up in Pro Tools drag it over, and it'll instantly stem everything out, so you can mix
wow.
it right away.
Wow.
Which that's pretty wild.
So what's the new Matrix like?
I don't know. It just looks fucking cool.
It's, I know it has Thunderbolt as well,
Okay. and
and I know you can use it simultaneously. That's the problem that a lot of people that use, like I have a HDX interface, or HDIO,
Yeah.
and you can't, you know, like if you have a regular interface, that you can use it in Pro Tools, then switch back to your desktop, listen to Tidal, and then use like you can use a bunch of things simultaneously. Now you can do that with the Matrix 2, with the Thunderbolt option, and it's just, you know, the same, that like their stuff sounds really good. Ever since they did this thing with DAD, I just think the converters sound
this
like
shit
really
sounds
good.
so good.
I have the Matrix Studio as well,
have that.
and I love that. Yeah,
It's a great piece.
Yeah.
And they've also got the dad.
yeah. You
stuff.
get the
Is that what you're using, Ken, for your Atmos?
Matrix Studio and
Dad
Dadmon.
Man, right?
Dadmon.
Dad Man. Yeah.
But I mean,
Cool.
the fucking Dante has got to
Dude.
be the worst software ever coded in the
Yes.
history of coding software ever.
Yes.
But
And
it's
they
insane
never
what you can
fix it.
do, though.
Yeah, when it works.
Yeah,
it's
when it works, yeah.
magical.
Yeah, like you can literally walk in with a laptop into a studio, just have the Dante virtual sound card, and you're tapped into the whole system, multi-channel. Like when I do a lot of my Atmos stuff on a laptop. Then when I get to the studio, literally one Ethernet gets plugged in, and I'm in their system right away.
That's dope.
You know, multi-channel and everything.
Fully routed, ready to go.
Did you see
Yeah, that's
Pro
pretty
Tools
sick.
has the renderer built in now?
Oh, did
Yeah,
they-
the Dolby.
They
the Dolby.
released that version?
I don't know if
Or
it's
it's coming?
released, but
Gee.
they are
They're
showing
showing it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no
so
way.
the Pro Tools. The
Yeah,
Atmos
the Dolby
renderer
renderers
is
inside
I
the
did
shit.
not know that.
Are
Yeah.
you messing with Atmos?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm bewildered in this conversation, and I
No,
need
I'm
these
just saying.
goggles.
Like I know about it, and then I collaborate with another engineer at his studio with Atmos.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Actually, on this last project, I've been working alongside one of my boys that he's been in the game for a while.
Nice.
And just getting acclimated.
Yeah.
Well, the way I look at it is like now it has to happen.
Yeah.
So instead of someone else fucking up my mix, I'd rather fuck it up myself.
Right.
and it's a fucking gold rush, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the back
You
catalog
hit it on the head,
shit.
exactly.
It's like it's a whole other, like you mix the album and now you gotta mix it twice and you get paid to mix it twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy. The one thing that's a fucking bitch now is you have to do like before you could get away with not having to do stems, but now you have to do stems
Yes.
right away, and you have to deliver Atmos at the same time. Otherwise, you won't get playlisted, and labels really need that shit. So thank fucking God for Bounce Factory and SoundFlow. Otherwise, my life would be miserable. You know, like I stack it.
Because you're in analog land.
I'm,
aren't
yeah,
you?
I'm analog.
Yeah.
So I try to, what I do is right at the end when I'm doing it, I'll find sessions that have similar recalls, and I'll batch them together. So I'll set up like 5-6 sessions to happen, and I monitor it from at home. And this is like, you know, when we finally get back, like all my
Baines is
iPhone.
next level with this Bounce Factory shit, by the way. I've seen him
I'm
in person, like, holy shit.
Wow.
Bro, I
It's
set
next
it up
level.
so when you hit record, the lights in the room turn red.
Nice.
It got pretty annoying after a while, so I put it off. But it was cool initially.
Nice.
That's nuts. No, it's a time saver. It takes a little bit of time. It's a learning curve, which I haven't learned yet, but it's a learning curve. But once you do it, it is quick. It is quick to bounce stems. It doesn't make it a pain in the ass anymore.
Not even just for everything. Anything like I use a lot of Isotope RX, like a lot of that stuff, and you just one button, it's gonna break the region. It's gonna open up the Audio Suite plugin. It's gonna go to my default setting. It's gonna commit it like for declick or deplosive or stuff like that.
That's what I use a lot.
Yeah, declick is like
Yes.
because of there's this one plugin that everyone uses that Jess is here, so I can't mention which one it is.
Right.
But it causes a lot of
Which a
artifacts.
lot of people don't know that the fix on that is moving the tracking knob.
exactly,
Yes,
but
right,
that
yeah.
changes the sound. So if you're recording into it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if it comes to you, which now
Of course.
I don't record anymore, we're all mixing. You can't like changing the way the autotune sounds is like an easy way to get your head
Yeah,
cut off by
exactly.
some of these
Right,
rappers.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you just gotta deal with it.
And you got to own every version of AutoTune as a mix engineer.
And you got to know how to install them so they don't
Oh my
step on
God.
each other, and how to store them in your unused folder.
And then they surprise you. You'll open up, and then nothing's working, and you got to reinstall and uninstall.
Oh,
man.
yeah. So we skipped you. You got here. Thank you for coming
Got here
in.
late, just walked
Yup.
in.
welcome to AES.
Appreciate you.
Straight to the faders. Top
Straight to you
three. Nah, legendary, man. Top 3 plugins that are like your go-tos. You just run and grab them real quick. It's always like something that you know, it's this year.
Man, on the spot. I'm not gonna lie. I got this guy in front of me. I've been using Greenhouse a lot.
Nice, nice.
Word.
Just opens
I gotta
things
get
up.
you a copy of Low Comp. My new one is sick.
You sent it to me. I just haven't been able to kind of integrate it. I'm like right in the middle of the trenches with a project. But I've been using Greenhouse a lot. I'm trying to think. I mean, you know, the go-tos are the simple things, you know, like just EQs and stuff like
Yeah.
fat filter EQs.
Yup.
I definitely use a lot of D-Click. I don't know what it is about tracking these days. But so much,
It's
even if it's not
changed,
auto-tune,
right? It wasn't like that before.
There's clicks everywhere.
You know what I think it is? I think it's
Is it the keyboard punching in and out?
Also, but it's not even that. It's like
No, it's digital clicks.
artifacts.
Yeah.
Also, Jess and me were talking about this a while ago. Like back in the day, the cable runs were so long. You know what I mean? Like you're going from the live room to the patch bay, then from there to the preamp that's probably all the way on the credenza there.
Yep.
Then going back to the patch bay, then back to the compressor. Then maybe if you use a de-esser on the way, there's all of this cable run, like which 50 to 100 feet sometimes, and it inherently like would darken the sound, but in a pleasant way.
Right.
And now it's just one XLR going into an Apollo.
Right,
man,
the Apollo.
And that's also it. Like that thing doesn't,
the lip smacks and all that are just like high def lip smacks. Looks
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
These little peaks
Crystal
all
clear.
over the place. And then I would say, I don't know, I like the UAD distressor a lot. That's like one of my Swiss Army knives. I just use that a lot.
Nice.
You know, so those are kind of like, I know those are like, they're going to be used every session.
nice.
After that, you just kind of reach around, you might find it.
You guys mess around with Good Hertz at all?
I have not.
I have the Wolf compressor.
The
That
Wolf is
thing
really good. The Faraday limiter. I don't use RVox at all anymore. The Faraday's replaced
Word.
RVox for me.
Wow.
Check that out. See what you guys think.
Yeah, I inherited a session with Low-Hi.
That's really cool too.
It's fire too. It has like some clipping,
I've seen that, yeah.
some little clipping thing. I was like, all right, I couldn't really recreate it, so I was like, I guess I'm gonna inherit this one.
Yeah.
And it's there. I
I tell you guys all the time. I tune into you guys to hear these conversations because you guys always put me on to the new new plugins.
Every episode I lose money.
Yeah.
I get all the tips and I'm just like, oh fuck.
It's an
All right,
addiction,
I gotta try.
man. It's like,
No, it is.
yeah.
And so sometimes I fight it. I know I want it, and I'm like, I don't need it. I already have 20 others.
Yup.
And then at some point I cave in.
Always.
That's what we got. We just walk around. Like I was like, I use New Gen a lot. I just walked up. I was like, I want to be on the NFR list, and that's what we just got to start doing now. Just anyone, just hit them up like, yo,
Real talk.
artist program. Let's do
Really.
this. Let's
I
do
mean, we
this.
are the artists, like you said.
100%.
Bass was saying, we are the artists. So,
But even just forgetting that you have them and like
Yes,
seeing it the
yes.
next mix, you're like, I needed that yesterday. And I didn't even remember.
that's so
Like,
true.
I'll get something new and I'll use it on every mix, and then I'll forget about it.
Totally.
And then like months later, I'm like, oh shit, why don't I use that anymore?
Yeah.
Do any of you guys ever just do a mix with plugins you never ever use just to see what happens? Like
Sometimes.
once in a blue moon, I'll do
Sometimes,
that,
yeah.
and I'll come up with like cool new techniques whenever I do that.
Because then you're freestyling. You're really just
Yeah.
you're in the now with it.
Yeah,
you know?
you're just doing what we do anyway.
You're not
using
going
your
through
ears and your
motions.
instincts.
Yeah,
and-
you're not going through motions of like, I
Exactly.
usually go here with the attack and go here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You actually have to listen
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
on gear that you're really unfamiliar with, so it
Yeah.
really kind of
I
just.
won't do a whole mix like that, but I'll do like the vocals. I'll find something
Just
new.
try to- yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll be fishing through that long list, and you'll be like, let's pop this thing on and see what
Yeah.
it does. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes it'll be like, nope, it's coming right back off.
Yup,
But
a
sometimes you
lot.
find those gems, though. Definitely.
Yeah.
I experiment a lot with keyboards because for me that's one of my like hardest things to do, but I love the way they sound, but I'm not that guy.
Well, the great thing about
So-
keyboards is you can mess them up, and they're probably still in the
Sound
vein of
pretty
what
good,
they were.
yeah. So I experiment a lot with key. That's where I always pop out new plugins is on keyboards. Can I get some crazy shit to come out that I didn't even expect, or shit like that?
I gotta try that
Yo,
Synaptic stuff.
Yeah.
Synaptic
Yo,
is
guys,
next
thank
level.
you so much for having me. I'm gonna swap out with Tume real quick.
Dope.
man.
Hell yeah.
Yes, thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you,
cheers,
Baines.
guys.
Big shout out
All
to
right,
Baines.
Alex.
Hell yeah.
It's like the Royal Rumble. Tag teaming.
One
Gang, gang.
Yep.
What a legendary day.
Yeah.
E-Mix, thank you so much for stopping by, man.
I just got off the plane, man. I had a whole
Literally.
movie at the Sky Club, man. I turned that into the studio this morning.
That's crazy.
We're turning in a record tonight. It's gonna be the main. It's gonna be the official song of the NBA on TNT.
Nice.
So and then last night it was the brilliant idea. They wanted to switch everything around, and I had this, so I had to do this edit, then remaster, and get the Dolby and have that all done. So
Yeah,
it was actually a blessing that I missed my flight because I wouldn't have been able to take care of all the ins and outs. So even on the way here from the airport, I'm just delegating files.
Jesus.
You gotta love executives. Like, yeah, change it completely.
Yeah. Oh
Today.
no, this was from the top. This is the artist himself,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hey, you think we could? That's better, right? And, yeah, it's not, it would be better. It'd be dope. All right. Yeah, just send it to me when it's done. All nighter. I didn't sleep, man. I was sleeping
Crazy.
on the Uber ride over here.
Even at the top, we're living that life.
It's
Even
the life,
at the
man.
top.
I told somebody the other day. I was like, I've been doing this 21 years now. And I said it'd be a disservice to young Eddie just starting in the game. That now when we get popping and we're getting calls and we have all this work that we tap out now.
Yeah, try and get
100%.
lazy
No,
and
you
get
gotta
too
bust ass.
big. Yeah, hell
It's
yeah.
the dream, man.
Yo, that's why you're the legendary E-Mix.
I appreciate it.
Dude, I'm still climbing. I got a long way to go.
Right, that's how I
A lot
feel.
more records to make.
That's how I feel.
Legendary.
That's
That's
why I
how-
give it everything.
Welcome, Alex.
Welcome,
Yeah.
Alex.
Thanks, yo.
Talking
Whoop,
about
whoop.
you.
AES 2023, Faders of the Lost Art. Big thank you for coming on, Alex.
yeah, dude.
How you doing, man? How's it been so far?
Tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see a lot of new stuff, or is it more that we've been talking like there's a lot of catching up. It's all the greatness of seeing everybody all together is like almost more important than the gear right now, and then you kind of like figure it all out where everything's
I
at.
think AES for us is people first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to see my friends and then
Yeah,
like meet a couple of
100%.
people that I admire and ask them like a couple questions and
Yep.
see kids that fucking are here to learn. That was sick. Like they had the career day.
Yeah.
And I walked by and a kid was like, "You look like you make music." I had no idea who I was.
That's
Didn't know
dope.
anything. He's like, "I actually just found out about engineering. Can you tell me what it's?" And I gave
Oh,
them the
that's
spiel,
really
and it
cool.
was actually like,
Yeah.
I was like, "This is the cool. I'll remember this." They even might not remember it, but I'll remember this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's gonna remember that.
Yeah. And it was like kind of sick. And the gear and the plugins and stuff, I feel like I'm always looking anyway. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I get recommendations from like all the little group chats we have and stuff.
Right.
And somebody's like, "You gotta try this," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I just." Look at their Instagram. I'm like, oh, he got paid to say that. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let me,
Right.
let me
Yeah.
take that with a grain of salt. But a lot of times, like, people are like, yo, I just found this shit, and they mean it, and then I'm like, sick. I'm gonna go check that out. I'm gonna buy
Right.
this piece of gear just off their recommendation. If I don't like it, I'll trade it in, whatever. But the Whitestone compressor,
They were just
We were
talking
just talking
about
about
it.
that.
that looks sick. And
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh
The-
my goodness. Which one? The black
evil,
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want. The other one sounds cool,
Uh-huh.
but it's very light, and I have the dangerous
Right.
bus compressor, which does that. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, like, let me get something a little more heavy-handed. I have the germaniums;
Yeah.
they're super heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And like, so I was like, what if I got something like kind of in the middle? And I think I'm gonna try that out this week. Actually, I told him to bring it by. My studio's like right up the street. So
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
You know who's using them? Ari, our brother Ari.
Ari Morris.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
got
okay.
one.
Do you know if he has
White
the black
Stone?
one or the white
I
one?
think he has the white one,
The white one.
but he loves it. He's been posting it.
Yeah.
He got me excited.
They
On
say the
way
white
here,
one-
I was gonna look for him just because I saw him
Nice.
post.
They say the white one's good for two bus or mastering because it's more tame.
I think
Yeah.
that's what he's using. Yeah, he's running his master through.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'll just fucking slam that shit. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And the oven, Bob's got one of the few
Yeah,
ovens
of
on
course.
Earth.
Oven's awesome.
That thing is so
I
sick.
think that's why I like the Whitestone because it's like the oven different way of
another
the oven, you know.
yeah another flavor.
And it's like just like a guitar player, you can't have one distortion pedal. You gotta have six. You know.
yeah.
Totally.
No, so every input material has its flavor that you want to impart on it.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Totally.
Oven does some pretty dope shit too.
Yeah, once you learn the oven and how it interacts, because one knob doesn't do one thing, it interacts.
Right.
Once you learn it, you can get real creative with it,
Cook up some real magic in that oven.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the first time I actually I saw it in use, it was Bob working on a Collie Buds record, and he's like,
Buds.
I got the real one here, but this plugin is, it's really doing it. So that was very,
Yeah,
very
reggae's a
interesting.
perfect thing for the oven.
Yeah.
Extreme settings.
It really like you could barely hear it. It was so crispy and so clear and just not imparting something crazy on it, just changing it up completely.
Alex,
dope.
don't you have a plugin?
Oh fuck no. I've been asked a couple of times to like sign my name on somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, but I have this idea. And they're like, that sounds like it costs us a lot of money to develop. And I was like,
Yeah. Okay. So let's hear it.
Well,
if you could make a plugin or a couple, what would you make?
I mean, like the little distortion, like 808 trick stuff I do feels like a simple one.
Yep.
Because it's very like I was talking to Soundtoys about it, but there's really no need for it. I've shown how I do it. I've shown the steps.
Yep.
Like that's something that, like I was like, here, have this. It's fine. I literally came up with it on stream, and I was like, wait, did I just do something cool? And and I was like, this is kind of sick, and like the harmony stuff. Like I was talking to Soundtoys, I was like, why don't you where's the Soundtoys harmonizer that's a little bit like more creative? You know what I mean? I was like, where's my ability to make a chord with like a bunch of different takes and like choose which take I'm using in the thing, and be able to treat each one differently and be like, this one I want it to feel more vocodary, this one I want to feel more natural, this one I want to, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm doing it, when I do that stuff, it's in steps. I'm doing one, I'm doing like the third and the seventh, and I'm doing them each completely different.
Right.
And if I don't have separate takes that are viable, I'm making something that sounds super robotic and kind of fake and boring. And sometimes that's cool.
Right.
But like to have more like the vocals and stuff I've used always kind of like it's just a little bit missing the mark, and I always felt like Soundtoys would fucking hit that out of the park.
They would kill it, man. A little Alter Boy's still on every damn thing. Every time I need something like that, it's
Alter Boy's dope.
Nice.
heck yeah.
Just hanging.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is a wild bunch to be in
I
right
feel
now.
like we're like on the front porch, have a couple brews, and just
shooting
set
the
up
shit.
shop in the middle of AES.
So Alex, I haven't asked you yet. Top 3 go-to plugins this year that are like, man, I've been using that one a lot, or I've been wanting to reach for that a lot.
True Iron is like
Dope.
everybody
Kaz
always
great.
talks about it, and I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. And I was like,
that's
oh, now I know why.
What's funny is it came out like 3-4 years ago.
It's not
though.
new. It's not new.
Yeah,
No.
but it's new again.
Yeah.
It's new to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had it for a while, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back and use it because I used to use it when I first got it on I'd put it on every track, add a little bit of juice or something, on my snare, on my,
Did you guys check out their 747 yet?
No.
Yeah, they just did a Avalon 747.
Kaz
model
Rock
that's-
did?
Yeah, that's supposed to
And I
be.
think-
They did it with Avalon. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
I heard about it. I think they have a new K-clip too, maybe.
They have a K-clip.
They have a new K-clip, like
K-clip
4?
4?
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. I could be wrong, but I think so.
What else?
I use Gold Clip a lot lately.
Okay, yeah,
Word.
Baines was mentioning that.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I've been like getting into soft clipping and like all that, and like a little bit more, and like trying to figure out, what I'm doing that I'm comfortable with that I need to kind of push away, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me get rid of these limiters that I've always relied on. And there's certain limiters I've had on like 7 years of my career where I'm like, I know how this sounds. So like when I want to do like the first stage of limiting, I'm using this, and that's gone. That's been gone. You know what I mean? Every mix, I'm trying everything out. I'm like, so that has entered the like, what if I tried this on this record? Especially like a lot of the country stuff that I've been doing, and like the more indie rock stuff where I'm trying to bring more depth to the quieter parts of the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That or like Oxford Inflate or something like that.
Nice.
And then it's not new, but I use Cream 2 from Acoustica.
Oh, shout out
right,
Acoustica.
On my drum bus almost every session. It's, I mean, not really secret. I feel like I've talked about it, but it's something I've been doing more since I stopped doing a lot of like the streaming and stuff.
And what is Cream 2?
Compressor.
Compressor.
Yeah. I did all my research on it like 3 years ago, and and I don't remember any of it, so I can't tell you anything about it.
It gives me like vibes of the AR1
Yeah.
type of compressor.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that too. I'm happy. I find it really cool that all of us use like one Acoustica, but it's a different one. Like everyone's got their little one, which is dope. And we're like, I might want to try, but like we got our one that we fuck with. You know,
I like
we know
pink.
how to.
I like pink, and I want to use it on the stereo bus, but you just can't because you'll never bounce your session.
Coral 2
Coral 2
on the stereo bus.
Yeah.
Kind of a secret weapon.
Dope.
I was using the Howie Weinberg mastering plugin that they had, but I don't think they've upgraded it for Silicon yet. So last time I tried, it was like not working. But before that, it's got a fucking great clipper in it, and it does all sorts of crazy shit.
Dude,
but the clipper
sick.
at the end is
You gotta try that one. Mine's taupe. I love taupe.
Yeah.
Hit a little tape if you want or not. You know, it's got the saturation knob. So
Those EQs sound good on taupe.
Emix, I wanted to ask you, if you could only use 3 plugins to track in a tracking session, what would they be?
What would they be? Well, I mean, I remember when I was tracking heavy, I think I talked about this previously, where I used to have like niche kind of plugins and things that I liked. And then I would travel and I'd be in different studios and things wouldn't pull up. So I dumbed it down super to like just waves. Because in my mind, it was just every studio has waves.
Yeah. No, for
I'm,
sure.
I'm real utilitarian with most of this.
Same.
My
that's
approach
what
is pretty basic on everything. That's why I'm like
right.
the new stuff you
guys.
Yeah. I kind of just learn what I got and I just try and master it. So like the waves was like, it was like, I'd take a little low end off, have it like a de-esser, have a compressor, and I might have like a little limiter at the end and shit.
Word. So Waves EQ, REQ,
REQ6, R comp, the de-esser, the R de-esser, and what was it? Whatever that limiter.
Yeah. No, I feel like 90 to 99% of us are almost forced to use Waves when tracking because, like you said. Yeah. We can't rely on everything else to be dependent.
Especially
like it's just
back then, where now you could bring your laptop and kind of plug it in. Before you used to have to like pull your session up on their
Right.
And that's where you'd get surprised. Where
Does anybody use Renaissance X?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually do.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I like Axe a lot.
The guitar
actually.
one?
Yes, I use it on guitars.
But it's a compressor.
it is.
Like RVox.
But I don't use it on compressor. I haven't used it on
but no one ever talks about it. I'm over here like,
I use it on kicks.
Word.
I use it on 808s
I still
and kicks
rent
and
de-essers.
Yeah.
What?
It's always been my go-to.
I feel like the aesthetic of the X is
looks
very singular.
ugly.
It doesn't look like any of the other Renaissance stuff either. It has like its
right.
own little
It's
fucking
brownish.
Yeah, brown. Yeah.
It just looks dirty. That's what I want to do with it. I always want to dirty shit up with it. Just crunch.
That's dope. No, Renax and that thing is loud. Like when you pull that threshold, that thing gets loud.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
What are you guys' favorite dirty shit up plugins?
Ooh. Man, what have I been using lately?
Saturn Decapitator, the oven.
It's Decapitator, Saturn.
The Decapitator is just flexible.
It's so easy.
So there's lo-fi, right?
Lo-fi?
But there's also Nembrini Audio has a lo-fi, which is very similar. It has the same 2 knobs, and only those. There's no like alias or whatever knobs up top.
Okay.
And it's pretty sweet. It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
Just already talking about different pedals. It's similar to lo-fi, but it has just a
you gotta
different
have
color.
like every saturator because they're all
definitely.
like greenhouse, just the saturation side.
And
Beautiful.
Volcomp has a totally different saturator.
I haven't even gotten into that yet.
We nailed it with that.
The SSL Native X saturator,
Word.
totally
Really,
different.
yeah.
Yo,
I'm not gonna lie. You know what I do too is I just get like the preamp emulations and I overdrive the shit out of them.
Nice.
Because they have like the trim knob at the end, so I'll put all the input up, I'll raise that fader up, and then I'll trim it down and kind of blend it into whatever I'm doing.
And for you young engineers out there, if you want dirty reverbs, try Spring Reverbs. They are character
Avid
for days.
Air Spring Reverb is like
I love
so
the Air
ugly.
stuff. I love the Air stuff.
Yeah, it's so ugly in the
they were
best
on the
way.
mark with it. Yeah.
Sleeper. A lot of your favorite engineers are using the Avid Air stuff and Sleeper shit right there.
Deverb.
Deverb.
Yeah, Deverb is still
that's a go-to
hanging.
classic for a lot of
Oh
people.
yeah. Yeah.
When I don't know what kind of reverb, whether I want like a plate or a hall or something, I just put Deverb just to see if that happens to be the sound that sticks. You know what I mean? That's for some
Sometimes what
reason.
I'll do is I have like my cool reverbs already set up, but sometimes if I needed just to get back a little more, I'll just put the R-verb on it. I mean the D-verb on it, and just play with the mix on it just to kind of place it, because I already have it running through all the pretty deep the reverbs.
Right.
But that'll be something I'll put right on the track to just kind of.
It's like generic.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just fits.
Do you guys know the Kush Audio Omega N?
Yes.
The transformer.
I use the tweak.
So I put the transformer on my reverb sometimes.
Word. Yes.
That's nice.
And the True Iron is a similar vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
And it has like.
Well, and it's more flexible.
Yes. It has some.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
feel
cool
like I just
shit
get
in there.
heavy with that shit.
I know.
I crank it and then I like work mix percentage back. I'm like, all right, let's fucking figure this out. Like,
And then you're like, but I want more though.
Yeah.
But I know I shouldn't.
I mean, I've been doing that with everything, with de-essers. I'm like, okay, cool. Now you have a lisp, and now I'm gonna work mix percentage back.
Yeah.
And like now, like there's like fully, it's like coming through just like 20%, but like it's gone everywhere else. You know what I mean? And it gives it like it gives me a lot more control in those situations, especially when I'm doing multiple stages of de-essing. It's the same thing. It's like
I love the
everything.
Massey.
I'm just like
Massey's
cranking it.
great because the
Massey
mix knob.
de-esser has the
I've been
mix
doing
on it.
I've been doing the Melodyne de-essing trick a lot more often lately. Where
Oh,
you,
wow.
you just select
Yeah.
all the sibilants and turn them down.
That's
and then
sick.
finish it off with the Massey.
What?
Dope.
You know about that? Melodyne.
No, I do not.
Melodyne has, they have the amplitude algorithm. Of course, you can tune, but then it has the amplitude algorithm. But if you hold it and click, 3 down is a sibilance adjuster. So you just Apple A, select all of the whole vocal, and you can go to where you see the first S. You can distinctly see the waveform, and you just adjust the level, and it'll turn all the S's down. And
it won't affect anything else other than the S's?
No.
I need that.
that's crazy, especially because mic technique is just out the window lately.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I was just talking to a kid. He's like, I want to be. He went to school for speech pathology
Yep.
and wants to do vocal production, and I was like, that's sick.
That's
I was like, we don't have that anymore. That's
Shout
not a
out
thing that
C.
you
Wade.
see.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so sick. I think I literally just saw him.
Yeah,
like, right over
that's
there.
the homie C. Wade.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid.
That's
he was
so
in our
sick,
clubhouse.
yeah.
We met him on Clubhouse, and that's another one of these things where it's like we met him in person here, which
Yeah.
is dope. Like first time after how many years?
Yeah, that,
you know,
that
Clubhouse.
genuine passion for, hey, this is where I'm at now. I'm gonna kill what I'm doing. Stop looking ahead and what I'm trying to do and all that. Just, I don't understand. Like I had buddies when I first started that they would even tell me, like, I don't want to mix. I love tracking.
Yeah.
Word.
This is
I want
my
to hear
world.
that more often,
This
man.
is my world.
I look for those with assistants too. Even though I mix, I'm like, I can get you more work tracking than I can mixing. Because like, how hard? Like, what do I look like being like, hey, use this guy?
Right.
Like, they're like, but you're there, and I'm like, but him.
Yeah, that doesn't
It doesn't really work.
Like my assistant got really good within like 2 years of us working together, and I was trying to get him gigs, like pot him up, and people don't like to hear that from a mixer that they work with.
I'll vouch. I'll vouch. And
Yeah.
like, I definitely try to get them in their own spaces and stuff. But like getting someone in the recording room, and then you're like, you can do like a little rough mix, and then you've just won somebody over. Like I just made you not just one gig. You just got like a career. right
yeah,
there.
Right,
absolutely.
exactly.
And I feel like that's like people don't understand. Like even assisting a mix engineer is still you're still an assistant, and the next step is tracking.
Yeah, exactly.
And like even if that's what you like, tracking is such an important part of becoming a mixer.
Sure.
I feel like that's where I learned how to mix. Way more than anything else was like when I was just got a little free time like after the session to fuck with shit.
Yeah.
And then the song would come out and it would be like kind of my mix, my rough mix, but like polished up.
Yeah.
And then I started to like beat the mix with my rough mix, and then people started to put them out. And then not pay me to mix them.
Right.
And I used to be like, wait, hold on, guys.
But even the
Like,
problems that you discover as a tracking engineer helps you identify them as a mixer later. It's
Right.
like, oh, they fucked this up, and this is why they did that. And it helps you just identify stuff better.
It's firsthand in the trenches, finding out what's in the pasta sauce.
Learning how to compress an EQ while you're recording teaches you how to do it while you're mixing.
On the
it's
fly.
so much value in being a tracking engineer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And so many guys want to go straight to mixing nowadays and
Yeah.
not even learn how to track vocals. I mean,
Oh yeah,
God,
right
come
out
on.
of school,
Yeah,
they got
I mean-
their IG tag is mixed by.
Yeah.
Talk about our tagline, Faders of the Lost Art.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
getting that way.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's pretty soon we ought to retire the mix by thing.
I feel like I always talk about this because like when I came up, I had like I was getting on Instagram. I was late to the party, and there was Mixed by Ali, and there was like Mixed by Miles, and a few other like the big older generation of them. And I was like, do I have to do that?
Yeah, is this the new?
And I was like, I'm just gonna put my name.
Yeah.
And I'll put my description under it because like, if I put Mixed by, if you have to type in Mixed by, then my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you type in Mixed by, I'm gonna be like the 7th result. And if you're looking for a mixer through the internet,
Yeah.
and I'm number 7, you
I
gotta
reversed
look at
it.
the 7 people.
I reversed it. I went Bob Horn mixing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There you
See?
go.
So
Yeah.
That is second, afterwards.
That's
that makes
smart.
sense.
I just it's like we're gonna dispel a lot of the riffraff.
Well, because it was a good idea, like you said. When it first started, it was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But then you got all the kind of copycats, and you got all the people that are coming up that haven't gone through it, that don't really earn that. You're not a mixer.
And now it's almost like, I mean, with the exception of a few of our friends, it's almost like that's how we dispel the riffraff. If you have that tag, it's like pretty self-evident,
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, but that's all that attitude, just now everybody, they don't want to pay their dues. You don't want to grind. You don't want to kind of come up and really learn the craft.
Yeah.
And take pride in knowing your craft.
Yeah.
You kind of want to impress people and, I got the big record coming out. You should take pride that, man, I killed this session.
Yeah. How'd you get there?
Man, I got that sound today.
Yup.
Like,
Yeah. Well, no matter what era, age, 1900s, 2000s, 2100 years from now, the slow game is always ingrains it into your brain and your heart so much better than just learning it real quick.
Well, I also feel like that's the only guaranteed way. Because
yes.
the quick way, you're just rolling the dice a bunch.
Yeah.
Right.
I never rolled the dice in my career. I was an assistant for 2.5 years, and then I recorded people for a year or for 3 years, and then I didn't decide to become a mixing engineer. My mixes started to come out, and I was like, and then people asked me to mix and record, and I was doing both, and I was somebody's DJ, and I was fucking this and that and whatever, and I was like, well, now I have so much mixing work that I'm losing money recording.
Right.
So that's it.
It's
I'm done.
the natural progression.
And I just kept being there, and like I learned this early on because my first mentor told me, he's like, music is just a battle of attrition. Who's still there?
I just said
You
this
know what
the
I
other
mean?
day. Yes,
Like,
yes.
like the whole gig is, I was running the studio as like a tech, which was like a vocal chain and a fucking digital. It was nothing. It was not very hard to tech. I was mostly just replacing the woofers on the Aspergers. Like it was nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but I was just teching, and then the engineer didn't show up.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yo, can you record this?" And I was like, "Obviously, I can record this."
Yes.
I didn't really have a vocal template. Like I didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't have a workflow. I hadn't figured that out. And I figured out my template by mimicking my mentor's like band recording template. What he had, so he had all the tools for his drums, whatever. It was all blank. But he just like, I know I like this EQ on drums. I know I like this. So I started to do like, I know I like this. I know I like that. And worked my way to a template, and then worked my way to being a recording engineer, and then worked my way to like learning how to make shit loud, and like asking people questions, and like watching Joe Fitz and Elliot Carter when they were working on all the Hustle Gang stuff. Like I was in the studio like assisting them, and I was like, oh, what's that? What's this? And then their stuff started to become my stuff, and then I looked more plugins up, and I found like FGX on my own, and that was like kind of early.
Clutch.
It was early, like 2013. Like it wasn't like the big limiter yet.
Yeah.
And everybody's using like Pro L2, not Pro L, just the L2. Sorry, just the L2. And I was like, this isn't really giving me what I want. And FGX gave me that like loudness that like I couldn't achieve before. Yeah, and that was like one of the first like higher end plugins I bought. You know, and that progression just happened. It happened from being there.
Exactly.
And that, like, all that stuff that I just described was just me being there and me wanting to learn and figure it out. And all that shit happened because I just did it, as opposed to, like, planning how to do it and making a plan, like, and being like, I'm going to market I don't even fucking market myself. Like, everybody's like, oh, you have a big Twitter, you have a big Instagram. Bro, I do it because I just say shit that people care about because I care about it. And if you can't do that, don't force it.
Well,
Don't,
it translates.
like,
The passion translates.
Right. If you care about the shit and you talk about it like you care about it, people are going to care about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good point.
Man, what a great segue. I'm in shock. I'm in awe. I'm having a great friggin' time, but I think they're cutting the lights on us.
Literally, when I sat down, all the lights went off behind us.
So, man, we'll pick this up another time, but it's been an amazing time this time. Much appreciated, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again.
Big
Yeah.
thanks to Emix. Big thanks to Alex Toomey. Man,
Absolutely.
legends in the building.
here,
Big
man.
thanks to my co-host Bob Horn, Ken Lewis. Shout out our boys back home, Dave Pensato, Fareed Salama. Shout out our sponsors, Cloud Mics, Avid. You
Shout
already
out to
know.
Baines for joining us earlier.
Baines and G. Man,
Yep.
this has been one heck of a ride.
It's been a fun day.
Shout out to Len Kuis.
That's right, Len Kuis, and
Wait,
of course
he didn't get to make it, huh?
Kuis.
He didn't
our
get to make it.
executive
rival.
producer, the one and only Big Lou. Big shout out. Woo woo. Putting it all together, man. So, Faders of the Lost Art, AES 2023. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Later.
Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. And see you next time on Faders of the Lost Art.